Welcome to the Fireside Football Chat, everyone. Episode 4. He's Travis, I'm Jason. Well, we're in the Bizarro world, aren't we, Jay? He's Jay, I'm Chip.
You are
and
correct.
We are going to talk about football again. And Jay, I'm speechless, but I have a lot to say. So many things over the weekend, from a couple things I observed in college to many things in the pros. I don't know what to do, but I figure we're either in the Bizarro world or the football twilight zone.
Take your pick. Roll the dice, flip the coin, folks. I'll start with the NFL.
Go ahead.
Okay, no particular reason because it was all crazy. Broncos going to Tampa Bay, getting 6 and throttle the Bucks 26-7. Yeah, sure.
Bo Nix.
Had that one on my bingo card. How about the depleted Rams? And I mean depleted Rams, right? Getting 6 at home against the Niners. Par for the course that they'd come back and not only cover but win the freaking game, 27-24.
They were down 10 points with 6 minutes left. I thought San Francisco had a defense. I actually liked that game, but then pulled the trigger on it with my pick. But I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, it was brutal. Finally, I know you folks out there, you've heard me reference the hapless Panthers multiple times. And my hapless Panthers, oh boy. Leap up, get on the shoulders of the Red Rifle. That's right, adorable Andy Dalton. Let him carry them. That guy carried them to a 36-22 thrashing of the Raiders. Well, Chip, guess our old pal Gardner win one for the Gipper Minshew.
He didn't do it this week, last week.
Yeah, he did. He was busy throwing caution into the wind.
I've seen that before.
What in God's green earth is going on in our beloved National Football League, Chip?
Well,
I mean, sweet Jesus, it's unfathomable. Hopefully we can get to the bottom of this, because I'm at a loss for answers.
You know when it hit me that we were in that bizarre world or twilight zone? We saw a hook and ladder in the NFL. Not on the playground, not in midget football, pee-wees if we have to call it that. But the hook and ladder,
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Haven't seen it in ages.
Oh, unbelievable. And once again, slinging Sam Darnold.
It's a travesty.
Move over Tom Brady. We got a goat coming right up his tail. I mean, think about it. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible.
And you know, Chip, I'm pretty confident that our friends out there have to be feeling the same way. I mean, we've talked to multiple people, right? All feeling the same way. What is going on in football right now at both college and pro? I mean, what's going on?
Well, we can go back to the pros too. But there was a game. The over-under was 48.5, Jay. Okay, typical, nothing crazy here.
Not so unique.
When we analyze games and try to figure out some things out there and do our analysis, well, of course, again, we want to be on the right side of the ball. However, you like to get a blowout once in a while and an easy win. Like a Ron Popeil, set it and forget it. And guess what? The over-under was 48.5 in the JMU North Carolina game. Any idea what that final score was, Jay?
You said 48.5.
48.5 was the over-under in that
Standard.
game.
Final, I'm going to make it up. 30-25?
That would be the over. Well, guess what? This, again, was the Ron Popeil set and forget it, because the final score was 70-50. One team covered it, and there were 70 other additional points. Are you kidding me? It's amazing these things that happen, but I would have loved to have that as a game that I picked because that was easy peasy.
Put the women and children to bed and go out, enjoy yourself.
Everybody thought I was nuts with my Florida State pick, which turned out to be correct, which was my only correct pick, and I'll admit that, but we're not experts here, but still, I would have loved to have that an easy one. But anything that you saw that was...
You know, in college, you know, and I'll reference this later on, but the magic of Provo. I mean, Kansas State goes into BYU as favorites, and BYU absolutely mops the floor with them. No rhyme or reason. Kansas State, good football team. Go into BYU, which I'm not even sure if BYU was ranked at that time. Go into BYU Provo, and I mean, they get it handed to them. No. No idea at all how or why that happened, but for them to lose 38-9 to BYU, again, I'll chalk it up to the magic of Provo.
It's crazy. Wasn't there a 97-yard punt return or something in that game?
Geez.
Where he went to catch it, muffed it back 10 yards or something, and then ran to the other side of the field. Wasn't that game?
Was it Baylor or was it that?
Was it Baylor? I forget.
But
I don't know.
I think
could
you're
be
right
wrong.
with the 97.
I watched so many different. It was just crazy. It was absolutely crazy.
So what do you got here, Chip? What are you leaning anywhere? I know we're at this loss for words, but as far as your picks go, do you?
So if you want my college pick, trying to find that over under winning by over 70 plus would be. But what do I do? No.
The needle in the haystack.
This one's going to be front and center because you know this is on prime time on Saturday night.
Prime time.
Georgia and Alabama.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
You're messing.
We're going to get tight on that one.
You're messing with the big one.
But I'm looking, and it's time for the tide to change. Alabama has beat them 7 out of the last 8 times.
No. Great stat.
And the staff of Georgia is really solid. And we know, not taking anything away from the current regime in Alabama, but Nick Saban is not there anymore.
Oh, he is.
Yeah. I don't want to say the new shiny object, but I'm going with the Bulldogs.
He's going Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Talk to me now again.
I got them at -2. I just think that they're going to do it.
Now they going into Alabama?
Yes. Alabama's a home dog.
Okay, he's going with the Dogs. Good.
The Bulldogs.
Like you said, I mean, we got a new regime in here, man. You know, Slick Nick Saban sitting behind the desk now at ESPN.
Making a lot of commercials.
He's up there with Precious Pat McAfee and the boys.
Exactly.
So he's on to a different program.
I just think it's time for the tide to change.
Tide to change. Well, that takes me to my pick.
I can't wait to hear these, Jay, because you always have some good ones.
Well, here, I'm going to start off with Rutgers, okay? Rutgers, by the way, I think they were 3.5-point dogs last week going into Virginia Tech, pulled out the victory. I think they may have won by a field goal. I just think, you know, Schiano, he's a tough guy, and he's got his teams playing gritty, tough football right now. They're 3-0 on the season, right? Kyle Monangai is second in the Big East. Monangai is second in the Big Ten, with 457 rushing yards in 3 games to go along with his 5 rushing touchdowns.
It's pretty impressive.
Now, Chip, they're going to be absolutely lubed up in Piscataway Saturday night as the Scarlet Knights take on the Washington Huskies under the lights.
Wow.
At 8 p.m.
Wow.
And if my geography serves me correct, that's triple time zone voyage for the Huskies.
Yes, it is.
Okay. I happen to love the way Schiano has his team playing with momentum on their side. The Scarlet Knights, I think, are going to dispatch of the Huskies and cover easily. Remember, this is not your 2023 Washington Huskies offense. Okay, this year Washington's only averaging 27 points a contest, good for 87th in the nation. Woof. I mean, last year they were on fire. Right?
87th.
So they do have a few weapons. Okay, quarterback Will Rogers coming over, completing over 75% of his passes to go along with 8 touchdowns, and 5 of which are to Denzel Boston. Who has happened? He's the recipient of that. That's the player. Denzel Boston is the guy. He's the receiver for them. However, they've got so many new faces on the team, and by the way, only 2. Count them. 2 starting returners. The whole team.
Wow.
The whole team. They both happen to be on defense. I just don't see their lines, really their lines being able to hold up against the Scarlet Knights. So give me Rutgers with a stress-free double-digit win over the Huskies. Hammer gang. Go ahead, help yourself. Hammer the Scarlet Knights at -2.5 at home. And my belief is that the expansion of your bank account will become the real celebration
The
here.
expansion, that's right. That's right. Stack them high, Jay.
Stack them up. Next game, Kansas State -5 at home against Oklahoma State. I referenced Kansas State earlier. Honestly, I looked at the game. They had just about everything go wrong for them in that 38-9 loss to BYU. They were -3 on the turnover margin, 0 for 3 on 4th down. Yet, this is interesting. Their defense only gave up 241 yards. That's right, 241 yards, yet BYU managed to score 38 points.
Wow.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
Bizarre.
Yeah. Wow, there
right?
we go.
So I'm going to chalk this one up, as I said earlier, to the Provo Magic and flush this down the toilet.
Provo Magic.
Flushing it down the toilet. The Cowboys from Oklahoma State, they have much bigger problems. Trust me. Their run game is a travesty right now. Ranking 104th in the country, averaging only 3.1 yards per carry. Okay? In most cases, if you're going on the road and you're trying to win a top 25 matchup, which this is a top 25 matchup, this game, I think, don't hold me to this, but it might be Kansas State 23rd and Oklahoma 20th, potentially. But I know it's a top 25. They're both in that 20 to 25 range. And if you're going to try and win one of those, you got to be able to run the ball and control the clock. And by the looks of it, the Cowboys are flat out struggling to run the football. The Oklahoma State, they got dominated last week against, by the way, the Cam Rising less Utes. No Cam Rising for Utah, and
great.
They still dominated them. I think Kansas State, honestly, I think they're going to run all over them in this one. They're 16th in the country at 5.8 yards per carry, versus Oklahoma State, who's given up a porous 4.6 yards per rush. Okay? That's good for 81st in the nation. If I'm Oklahoma State, I'm not loving those odds. On the other side of the ball, we look at Kansas State in terms of their D. They're giving up a stingy 3.6 yards per rush attempt. And we don't need to review the feeble rushing attack that the Cowboys bring. Did I mention 104th in the nation? No big deal. Folks, there's one team here that's clearly better than the other. And when this bores out around 3:15 in the p.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay, go ahead and celebrate with a friend. Do it, all right?
Celebration time, Jay.
That's right. Pop the cork on that bottle of Dom you picked up.
Whoa,
okay.
Dom, we're going Dom.
Dom here. As you two were well aware of the upper lip adjustment the Cowboys will be taking at the hands of the Wildcats. Okay. I've been thinking about this. You know what, Chip?
Long and hard, Jay?
I'm going to do it. That's right, my friend. I'm making the call.
Uh-oh. I can't wait to hear this one.
Well, this here pick of the Kansas State Wildcats at -5 at home against the Okie State Cowboys is brought to you by my stone cold lock. Boom!
Uh-oh.
Lock it up, Chip.
Someone's excited.
Lock it up.
Someone is excited.
And for my final college game, Some of you might be a little bit surprised at this, okay? But I've always been told bet with your head, not with your heart.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I am, and I've received a little pushback on this week. I have.
Oh.
My friends, my final college game is Illinois plus 17.5 at Penn State, my beloved Nittany Lions. Okay, now I've watched every Penn State game and 2 Illinois games, so I have a pretty good idea of what these two teams bring to the table. Do I think the Nittany Lions will win? Of course I do. Okay, my Nittany Lions are going to win this football game. However, I think this has 2 ways that it could go, and one potential is for a backdoor cover. I think it could have backdoor cover written all over it, but on the flip side, it could very well be a nail biter going into the fourth.
Wow.
It could.
Wow.
Luke Altmaier is a solid quarterback, very capable of, if need be, certainly torching the second string defenders that could be coming in for Penn State. He sports, Altmaier's got a 71.4 completion rate to go along with 10 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. Okay, so the guy's proven he's pretty efficient. Illinois, believe it or not, has a pretty impressive D. Okay, they're 20th in the nation in points per play and 25th in points per game. And this team has been tested. Okay, they've been tested at home by defeating Kansas 23-17, and then last Friday night they go on the road to Lincoln and beat Nebraska 31-24 as 8.5-point underdogs. Okay?
Wow.
So this team has been tested already,
Okay.
both at home and on the road, right? Now, if you know me, which you do, some of you guys may or may not know me, but I'm a huge Penn State fan, okay? And I'm not one of these annoying, in-your-face, nauseating fans, all right? I love college football, and I've always tried to remain objective when I'm talking about my Nittany Lions. Their offense, the Nittany Lions offense, has definitely taken a step forward thanks to the new OC and Okotoniki, who sadly may only be around for one season at this rate. And their D, in fairness, has taken a small step back. Now listen, they were a top 3 defense last year, so that's to be expected. And then partly due to injuries, right? Partly due to maybe the loss of the defensive coordinator, and then also due to big-time personnel losses to the NFL, right? That said, it's not the defense that I'm worried about, and I don't even like to use the word worry. I'm not yet sold on our offensive line, or Penn State's offensive line. Okay, having to replace, those 2 tackles, one of which was a first-round pick in Olu Fashanu. That's a test. You lose 2 tackles to the NFL. I'm not sure I'm seeing the consistent push in the run game yet. Now,
still early.
It's still early, and we all know that scheme can certainly mask some of the issues. And listen, you guys can look it up. I mean, they're 13th in the nation in yards per rush. Pretty darn good. So I know you might be going, wait a minute, buddy.
Yeah, right.
You're saying that that's a questionable area? I'm just going based off of what I have watched, and not that they can't improve.
So you're saying they don't look like the 13th in the nation.
We also have to consider who they faced.
Exactly.
Right? Now, as I said, scheme can help that out. But I believe that the Illini head coach, Brett Bielema, has seen enough tape. I think he's going to know who to attack on that line.
Okay.
And it doesn't mean they'll be in the backfield every time and blowing their run plays up. No. But I think they've got enough power to be able to attack certain areas that might be a current quasi-weakness, okay? Now, again, folks, have no fear. The Lions are going to win this football game, right? They're
28-14, 2 touchdowns.
Could be that. They're going to win this game, but I think Illinois has the firepower on both sides of the ball to keep it close, or, as I said, to backdoor cover. We talked about the fact that they've already been in a raucous road environment going to Lincoln and playing Nebraska as 8.5-point dogs coming out victorious.
That's right.
So I'm not sure they're going to be intimidated by what James Franklin is calling white out energy on Saturday night. It's not a white out.
Just
but he
white
said
out
bring
energy.
out white out energy. So, gang, I'm confident in this. Lay the lumber on the Illini, getting 17.5.
It's a lot of points.
It's a lot of points going on the road at Beaver Stadium. As the man sitting next to me has referenced many times throughout our numerous football chinwags, Jay, we don't need them to win.
That's right.
We just need them to cover. And cover the Illini will.
Okay. Okay.
So that ties up my college picks here, Shep. I'll get into my one NFL here. NFL
can't
pick.
wait to hear it.
On to the pro slate. I won't be offering much in the way of statistical
You're
support.
not going to do it again?
Okay.
You're not going to do it
Well,
again?
listen, I can talk about the Dolphins' putrid offense, right? I can reference the 20, the 10, and most recently the 3 points they put up in their 3 games this season, or the 6.5 points per game they've averaged in the last 2 weeks ago against the Bills, and most recently this past week against Seattle. So yeah, it's true, Chip. There's no denying that their offense is still trying to navigate the confines of the driveway. They can't even get out of the driveway yet.
That's right.
It is abysmal. But that's not even close to the reason our viewers out there should be loading up on the Titans at -1.5. Instead, my friend, with the unequivocal, befuddling trends in the NFL thus far, my reason is quite simple. Chip, a question, may I?
Okay.
Do you happen to know the win total for the vaunted Tennessee Titans this season?
I'm guessing, and I think I know, but if I'm guessing, I would say it's the same total. No, are they 2-1 or 0-3? It's one extreme or the other. 0-3. That's what I thought. They had the same one as Carolina last week. That's right. I look at so many different things, I get confused. But so they had the same one, and that's when we get to mine. That's what scared me about one of mine.
Oh.
Because I love the Titans this week. It's on my. It's not going to be my pick, but it's. I have notes written down on that one.
We'll be waiting that one for sure.
Now you're scaring me. But I do like it.
So 0 it is, right? Not a single natural number in the win column yet for the Titans. And by the way, my definition of a natural number leaves out 0 for all you math geeks out there. And for that reason, and that reason alone, Chip, the fact that the Titans are winless, that's right, winless thus far, you absolutely unleash Santa's simoleon sack of greenbacks and gavel the Titans this week at -1.5. Gavel them! Enjoy the fruits of your wagers, my friends. That's right. Enjoy the fruits of your wagers. It's going to be a good one this week. It's going to be a good one. Now let me turn it over to my compadre, Chip, as he may or may not try to invoke justifications for his lauded NFL picks this week.
Yes, but I'll tell you one thing. That Titans-Miami game is like betting on 2 cockroaches going, running across the floor and saying, am I right? I mean,
No, this guy goes that way. That guy goes into the fire.
We don't know what's going to happen, but I do like the logic there in 0-3. Like I said, when we get to my pro picks, one pick I have, it's going to scare me because of that logic, because I believe in it too. Well, Jay, I took it on the chin last week. It was tough. It really was. And I've never been that off the right side of the ball, ever. Not a big gambler, I'm going to tell everybody. I do a pool where we have to pick lines. I love picking games. It takes that money aspect out of it, but I always do my research, what jumps out.
Still gives you a little taste.
Exactly, without going crazy. I've never been that off ever. But I'm not mad. But
He's unmad.
no, but I feel like there's an option this week, Jay. And that option would be sitting in the coffee shop like George Costanza. Yes, George Costanza. He lamented one time that every decision that he made was the opposite of what he wanted to do or be. Every instinct. So, after that thrashing that I took, I said, should I do exactly what George did? George would order tuna on toast with coleslaw and a cup of coffee. And as he was ready to place this order, he said, no, wait, I'm going to do the opposite. Chicken salad on not toasted with a side of potato salad and a cup of tea. And so it went. But I'm not going to do that. You can, and that's the beauty of this, because we're not picking 4 choices or 3 choices on every game. There's a winner, a loser, or a push. Right? That's it.
Correct.
So that's what you have.
Yep.
So
Some games there's a potential for a push.
If you, after 3 weeks, and I don't blame you coming in here and say, you're off your rocker, I believe you, because I don't get, what I look at, it doesn't work. That's why I referenced earlier about the pick that I'm going to throw out first, because I think that if you go by the way, I don't want to say it should go, it would make sense. But there's a couple of them where they jump out. I'm going to do what I always did. You can do the opposite. I'm not.
That's right.
Maybe next week, but this week I'm not. This week I'm not. So
Feel free to go oppo.
So what I'm going to do is, one of my picks last week was Houston. I was confident, strong team going into Minnesota. And the future GOAT, Sam Darnold, what did he do? Woo! I still scratching my head over that. But, so Houston's going home. And this is what scares me, Jay, because they're playing the Jags. Mm-hmm. And the Jags are 0-3. And they can't.
I think the only other goose egg is the Jags.
Yeah, however, I think I peeked ahead. They have a winnable game next week, so we can't make it this week. Houston, well, Houston's got, I really think that they're solid. They're not just, they have weapons and everything. Trevor Lawrence just doesn't seem like he really cares about playing football. And I think he has the most turnovers in the last 3 or 4 years in the NFL. It's unbelievable. He just, one of those guys. So I'm going to go.
Turnover, huh? Here's to you, Mr. Turnover.
Hey, exactly. And not the apple kind either. We're going to go with Houston -6. That's going to be my first pick. And Jay, to stay with the Sam Darnold theme, am I going to let Sam Darnold get me 2 weeks in a row? Absolutely not. You know why? Because if Minnesota has the #1 defense and Sam Darnold looks like the next GOAT coming down the pike, why is Green Bay, who looks pretty good even without Love, Malik Willis came in, I like their coach, why is Green Bay, albeit at home, giving the better team 2.5 points at home? So I'm taking Green Bay. Sam, you're not going to get me again. Nope. So I'm going to take Green Bay -2.5.
Good enough logic for me.
Sometimes my logic. Now, I'm on the fence because there's an extra game. Well, you know what I'm going to give you? So I'm going to go old school NFL, paying attention, right side of the ball.
Okay.
If an underdog team getting a lot of points goes Monday night, travels, wins outright against the Bengals, and then has to fly to Arizona for the next week, they're probably a little high after the game, feeling good. They finally broke through. Daniels looks like he's going to be
Sniffing
solid.
himself a little?
Maybe a little bit. So I'm guessing they're going to have a little bit of a letdown. And that's what you used to do back in the day. I know we're not back in the day. Things change, but what are they doing?
Surely is this start to this season.
Are they getting vitamin drips on the way to keep them? I don't know what they do. Maybe all these analytics on getting them ready for the game comes into play where they didn't before. But I'm still going. Arizona -2 against the visiting Redskins.
I think the old school logic here.
Hey.
It's
So that's my 3. That's my 3.
Cockroaches.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my 3. Again, I'm not doing the opposite, but going back to last week, it almost worked in the Eagles-New Orleans game with the line swing. There's a big line swing this week. I know why. It's because of the quarterback, but Kansas City is now -8 going into L.A.
No.
-8. I mean, I know because of Herbert and everything, but who else are they going to bring in? And Kansas City's defense is playing well. Spags has them.
They are.
And here we go. We have another set of speedy weapons. Andy does his thing. And Mahomes even said, we're not playing that great. Now, I don't dispute, but sometimes Kansas City gets the calls. I'm hoping they get the calls this week. Just keep an eye on that. I'm not saying I'm taking it. That's you. Or you can do the opposite and take the Chargers. But not doing opposite for this week. I do have something. If it keeps going downhill fast, Jay, I might have a surprise in the next week or two. Because it's either that or it's a good thing we have a fire. Woo! Right in the fire with the notes and the analysis. Because guess what? I can't call it, but I guarantee you it's not going to keep me down and out all year because it's never happened, this thing. So with that being said, our usual segment. Again, where is he, Jay?
Who knows?
I don't know.
It's a mystery.
But here comes Mr. Monday Night.
This is Mr. Monday Night. It was some tough sledding out of the gate. I was right that Joe Burrow was healthy. Unfortunately, I don't think his defense is. I also think Jaden Daniels has a chance to be real special, too. He's definitely the best rookie. This Monday night, the Lions are at home, laying 4.5 against the Seahawks. Mr. Monday Night appreciates how Biden inflation is choking us every day, but we have an offset. You got to bet the ranch on Detroit laying the 4.5 and taking down those undefeated Seahawks. There it is, your lead pipe cinch. These top picks are brought to you by Cinch Propane. Get your propane delivered to your home and stay green. It's a cinch just like Mr. Monday Night.
Well, Jay, hope next week we're not still in the Bizarro world. I can't do this. I feel like I have no clue what I'm doing. I was in an office poll, where you just pick them, no lines, years ago. I forget what office it was. And it doesn't matter, she's a woman, but she was a woman and picked her husband transferred a lot, picked every city where they lived and wins an office poll. I feel like we're right there now because I have no clue.
Have no fear, Chip. Small reference to one of your previous games. The tide is going to swing in our direction.
That's
brother.
right.
It's going to swing in our
4.
direction.
We did it again. A lot of fun as usual.
A lot of laughs.
Thanks for coming.